Welcome to class number 10 of AZON Masterclass 3. Today we're going to be learning a complete strategy for video marketing with our place-based websites. Now the whole premise behind this strategy is that you have all of these keyword-rich locations, in my example, these dog parks, in specific cities. But then I also have all of these photographs that I had taken by a photographer. So this is unique content that I can actually utilize in a video. Now, the best video that you can possibly make off of this is really going to be some kind of slideshow-based video. However, you really want to be able to talk along with the video itself so people actually get a better experience, since you're not going to have a lot of animation on the website. With these pictures running as a slideshow, then the speaking going along with the slideshow makes for a more interesting video. So the question really is, what would you talk about? Do you have to write a script for making this kind of a video? The really cool thing is that you can actually use the content you already have on your page, and this can essentially be the script for your video. You just turn this page on your website, or even just part of the page, into a video instead. And then you can take this video and go and market it in various places. Primarily YouTube will give you the most benefit. So the question then is, how do you decide what pages of your site to make a video about? Ultimately, you could simply make a video for every page of your site. The goal here is going to be to link up from your video to a specific page on your website to bring in more targeted traffic for you. So you could select some of your more powerful pages in terms of those that might have keywords with more potential traffic. But then you could also simply just try to target all of them if you have the time to do that amount of work. Now, it will take a little while to create a single one of these videos, which is why you may want to be a little more selective, at least to start out with. Try to go after some of your more powerful possibilities in terms of your highest keyword traffic phrases. That way you can really get a sense of whether this strategy will be effective for your site or not. You are going to have a wide variety of different situations with these types of websites, where some people may go searching for information on some of them or want to look at a video on some of them, whereas others, they really might not care too much to watch a video about it. For example, if you're just covering a specific type of retail store, especially if it's like a big box store or something like that, you might not be able to create a very interesting video, or at least one that people would actually go out and search for to watch. Whereas with something like a dog park, you do have a lot of parts that are visually appealing, things that they might want to see before they actually go there. And so those type of situations are going to be the ones, at least, that offer the most potential for this video strategy. So I would still recommend to try it out, no matter what kind of site you're doing. Just pick your most powerful keyword phrase for the most powerful location that you're trying to target on the site. Create a video for it and see how it works out after a couple of weeks to a month or so. See if it brings you any traffic. And if it does, then expand your efforts and continue on creating more videos for more pages of your site. Now obviously, in terms of trying to pick out the most powerful, you can definitely go for general keyword phrases, like I can go for just a general dog park phrase that relates to this specific dog park. And obviously I can find which dog parks might be more powerful than other dog parks in terms of the search traffic that is out there. Now I can get Google traffic to these YouTube videos, but then I can also get traffic off of YouTube itself. And you won't really be able to dive into keyword traffic data for YouTube. However, if you see traffic for a Google term, chances are there is traffic on YouTube for that term as well. Now, one other thing that you can do besides just using the keyword data, go to Google to start with and start typing in the name of your location. And you might be able to get a popular long tail keyword phrase. And you might be able to continue expanding it too based on different suggestions that Google has. And this can help you to craft the best possible title for your video. You essentially want this to be the title of your video. That way you have the best shot of getting ranked here on Google for this particular keyword phrase, which you've then kind of based off of keyword traffic as well. Now to take that one additional step further, you can do the same thing on YouTube. Just simply go there and start typing in whatever your place location is and see what kind of suggestions come up for it. Now for mine, obviously I'm going after dog park, but the top two suggestions here are just simply park and Los Angeles. So I might try typing in dog afterwards to see if there are any suggestions. And if there are not, then I simply may want to consider these possibilities. Now if I combine this information here with the information I'm getting off of Google for suggested phrases, and then also the information I'm getting off of the Google Keyword Planner, I can then come up with a video title that will satisfy all of these different locations in one shot. And I think this is going to be the title of the video right here, maybe with CA added on to the end of it, Runyon Canyon Dog Park, Los Angeles, California. So this will help me to cover my keyword phrases. It will also help me to cover suggested Google searches, and it's going to help me to cover the suggested YouTube searches as well, like Runyon Canyon Park and Runyon Canyon, Los Angeles. So continue through this process for any video that you decide you want to create. You can research the information to craft an appropriate title for it. You will be able to figure out what keyword phrases you're really going to be trying to target on this, and this will help you with crafting a good description for your video, as well as for actually providing keywords into your YouTube video itself. So once you have determined exactly what you want to create, then you can proceed with the actual creation process of your video. Now there are definitely a ton of different ways that you could try to go about creating a slideshow video. So I wanted to try to give you guys a little bit of a variety that covers some of the recommended things that I have covered in the past. For example, the first one is going to be OpenOffice. This is a free solution that anybody can use, whether you have purchased other types of software. For example, Explaindio is another example that I will continue on to in a few, and that would be more of a paid solution for this type of work. But you don't have to have something like Explaindio. And in fact, going the plain OpenOffice slideshow free route can really be a little more powerful for you because of the way we will actually go about recording and publishing that video. And that's something that I again will get to a little later on in this class. So for now, I want to start out by showing you OpenOffice. In case you are not already familiar with this, OpenOffice is a free open source software that essentially mimics all of the features and software available in Microsoft Office. So instead of paying hundreds of dollars for things like a spreadsheet program and a word processor and a slideshow presentation software, so on and so forth, you get it all for free with OpenOffice, something you can find at openoffice.org. So I have created a slideshow template for one of these dog parks on this website. And I'm actually going to be providing this template for you guys so you can base yours off of this one. And this should help you to save some of the initial setup work. But I'm still going to walk you through exactly what I did to create this slideshow. Now, one thing I want to point out here, when you are making a slideshow in OpenOffice, if you have a high-definition computer monitor, you will notice that you'll have blank strips of white on the left and the right side of your screen. Now, there actually is a way to overcome this in OpenOffice, and that is simply by changing the layout of your slideshow page here. So I have made mine an HD layout. To do this, you go up to Format and you go to Page. And you want the width here to be 16 inches and the height to be 9 inches. This gives you the HD widescreen resolution for your slideshow, whereas typically the standard resolution, where it would be more of a squared off rectangle, even though it's still not a perfect square, it is less of an elongated rectangle, would be a 12-inch by 9-inch would be the default. So I'm extending my rectangle out to be a widescreen, which will be 16 inches by 9 inches. And again, this is something that would have to be done for each of the slides, but I've already done this for you on all of these slides that I have built in to this particular slideshow, which you will receive as a template as part of this class. So there are a few edits that you will obviously want to be making. You definitely would not want to be using the pictures from this location. Certainly use your own pictures. So progress through each of the pages. If you just click on a picture in any page in any one of these slides here, you'll see it get outlined with the little green boxes like this. If you just hit the delete key on your keyboard, it'll wipe out that picture from the page, and then you can just go up to Insert and Picture, and from File, and just select a new picture from your computer that you want to display on this page. Now, if your pictures are not shot in a widescreen resolution, you will need to actually change the resolution of the picture to get it to cover the entire frame here. All you have to do once you have a picture on the page is right-click, click on Position and Size, and then you want to change position X and Y here to a 0, and then you want the size to be a width of 16 and a height of 9 inches. So this is going to give you the same widescreen resolution that we had before. One other thing, you may need to uncheck this Keep Ratio box right here to be able to change these two numbers to these exact numbers. Otherwise, as you change one, it'll be changing the other one automatically, and you may never be able to get to this particular setup. So once you have adjusted these numbers here and you click on OK, it'll resize your image to stretch to fill this whole page. So you want to proceed and do that for as many images as you feel like needs to be displayed on this particular slideshow. Now again, you don't have to be doing the entire page. I want to walk back over to my page here for just a second to show you. I've picked out these top two pictures. I skipped my big panorama because they're not going to scale correctly in that slideshow. And then I've done this next set of 3 pictures, but I ignored the things like signs for these places. And then I've also added in these bottom 6 pictures as well. So my template that I have created for you guys has a total of 11 images in it. But again, I've actually skipped something like 5 images, 2 panoramas and 3 smaller images here. I've actually skipped for my page. So you can see I have 11 images going down. So if you want to pick out 11, that's fine. If you come up with more or less than that, that's quite okay too. You can wipe out these slides by simply clicking on one and hitting the delete key on your keyboard. You can also create more slides by clicking on one, going up to Insert, and clicking on Duplicate Slide. Then you will have 2 copies, and you can simply change the image on one of them. Now, if you are going to duplicate or remove slides, do it from the middle section. Do not do it to number 1 or to number 11, because these slides are different. The other ones are nothing but a picture on them, whereas slide 1 and slide 11 actually has some text to go along with it. So after you have set up all of your pictures on these slides, and you have the correct number to match up with the number of pictures that you want to be showing in your slideshow, then you really just have 2 adjustments that you need to make. Number 1 is on page number 1 here. You need to change the text. So up top, if you click next to or anywhere within this text here, you'll be able to edit this text and change it to whatever the name of the location is that you're creating for this slideshow. And then you do the same thing down below with this next line for the location. Now, while your website might be about a general city like mine is, Los Angeles, some of the locations may technically be located within different smaller municipalities or cities or suburbs or whatever the case may be. If the physical address is for a different city than the main city you're targeting, use the actual physical address city to go along with it here. So once you have the text on slide number 1 changed, then go down to number 11. 11 here is our closing. Now this is not going to show up instantly. Our picture is going to show up, and then when we click, this box is going to appear for the duration of the video, so people can actually click on it in the YouTube video and arrive at this page on our website. So this is how we're directing the traffic along from our video to our website for this actual page. So do the same thing here again with this text. Just click and select to edit it. Essentially, you really just need to do this line here and change the actual location. Whereas the top and the bottom lines here, these may be able to be left alone unless you would like to change the wording. So after you have all of your slides edited, save your slideshow, and then you can actually test it out by going up to your first slide, clicking on slideshow here and slideshow again. And this is going to put it into full screen mode. So you can see now I don't have any white or black borders off to the side of my slideshow. It's taking up the entire screen for me. And every time I click my mouse anywhere in the screen, it's going to change it to the next slide. So I can control the timing of this as well. So when I'm recording my video, I can just play the slideshow, talk along with the slideshow to narrate it, and I can control my own timing by clicking myself. So as I am progressing through the content that I'm actually going to be talking along with this, then people are going to be able to see on my screen. I think running my slideshow and my video recording here at the same time is a bit of a memory drain on my computer, so my pictures are not showing up. But you can see on this final image here how this box is going to kind of zoom into view at the end once I have clicked, and then when you click again, your presentation will be over. So again, you get to control the timing of everything. And as I mentioned earlier, the script that you use can be your actual website. So as this picture is showing at the very beginning, I can start off by saying, just a stone's throw from Hollywood is perhaps the city's most popular hiking destination, Runyon Canyon, or even Runyon Canyon Park. There are 160 acres, so on and so forth. And then, as I get through part of my script and get closer to the next picture, I can advance my slideshow. And then some parts of it I may decide to skip. For example, down here where I didn't use these pictures, I probably wouldn't use these couple of paragraphs of text because these are in reference to the pictures down below them. So I might jump down here and start to talk again to go along with these 6 pictures that are going to be shown. So once I get to the very end of whatever content and the pictures that I'm going to be showing, and I land on this final slideshow, I can make this picture pop up, and I can basically just say what it says on the screen. Want to see more pictures for the Runyon Canyon Dog Park in Los Angeles, California? Click here for our full review and photo gallery. And then you wait maybe 5 to 15 seconds or so to leave this on the screen to give people a bit of an opportunity to click on it before your video closes down. So this should give you an idea of the complete walkthrough of how you would take this slideshow, edit it to apply to your location, and then actually narrate it to create it into a final video. Now there are definitely a lot of ways that you can actually go about recording that video that you create with OpenOffice. As you're going through and narrating, nothing's going to record your screen automatically. You'd have to use some kind of software that will actually record that into a working video for you. Well, I'm going to be showing you a technique here in just a few that's actually going to let you record the video and get it published all in one fell swoop without really having to do a lot of extra work. And in fact, going through that process can give you even better search rankings and faster search rankings with your videos. Before I get to that though, I did want to show you one other possible way that you can create these videos using things that I have recommended for you guys before. In particular, I'm talking about Explaindio here. Explaindio is a video creator software that I've recommended to my customers, and I also personally use this myself to create a lot of videos these days, simply because it's easy to work with. It will automate a lot of things for you that generally you would kind of have to do manually. So I have also created essentially the same kind of slideshow here with a couple of minor differences, mainly the text on slide number 1 and the final slide, slide 11. These parts are going to be different, but essentially everything else is just a slideshow, just like it was before. So if you prefer to use Explaindio, I'm going to be providing this template for you as well, so you can go this route if you prefer this way. The main drawback though with using Explaindio instead of OpenOffice for this particular strategy is that Explaindio does the actual recording for you, whereas with OpenOffice we need to use something else to do the recording. Now you might think, well, it sounds easier with Explaindio. Yes, it certainly is, but the method that I'm going to be showing you for recording that video and for getting faster search rankings with the video and for automating the whole publishing aspect of it, that is something you will not be able to do if you use Explaindio, because the video is already going to be recorded. Now there are kind of some options. You could take that Explaindio video and simply play it on your screen while re-recording it using this tactic I'm going to be talking to you about in just a few. However, that does kind of make it a little more complicated, and you really don't want any play or pause video controls to be showing up on your screen during that recording, or else it's going to end up in your final video. So if you did take the Explaindio video and try to play it while you record it again, you would want to simply make sure to be careful with not letting controls show up in that recording. So before I actually get to that recording and publishing part, I want to walk you through taking this Explaindio template and transforming it into your own video. Now, just like the slideshow, again we have slide number 1 and slide number 11 that have text on it that needs to be edited. That text is found under the Text tab. Sometimes you'll have one area and sometimes you'll have two. With slide 11, you have two areas. One just says "Want to learn more." That's down here below the box. The one you really want to edit is text area 2 and the second line of that, Runyon Canyon Dog Park in Los Angeles. That is contained within the box here. So simply edit the text here and it'll change in your video. Do the same thing on slide number 1, except we only have one text area here, Runyon Canyon Dog Park, Los Angeles, CA, down at the bottom. Beyond the text for slide 1 and slide 11, everything else is a matter of changing the picture. If you click on Image, you want to change the background image. All you have to do is remove the image that is there, click on Browse, find your new image that you want to replace with it, and then it's automatically going to show up for you. Now if you need to duplicate or remove slides, use these controls right here. This will duplicate for you and this will delete the slide for you. But again, don't do that to number 1 or number 11 because you need those to remain intact. Everything else is just a blank picture slideshow with no text on it. So remove your background, browse for a new one, and it'll replace it. A couple of things I needed to point out here though. Down below, this information here has been changed from the default settings. X offset began at 0 and I've put it at -215, and X scale began at 1 and I've changed it to 1.34. That has taken my image that would have shown a blank background off to the left and right, and it has stretched it to fill this widescreen view. Basically just like I was doing on the slideshow in OpenOffice, I have now done that in Explaindio using these settings. And you have to remove the proportional scale here or else the scales can change. As you're adjusting one, the other one will be changing on you. So just in case you ever had to reset that information, or maybe you wanted to change the introductory slide to have the text showing up in a different manner. This slide number 1 and slide number 11, they are animated slides from the Explaindio collection. So you could decide, hey, I want to use a different one instead of what Ryan has picked out here for the default. You would then need to change these 3 settings here to get your background image to scale properly. So go through and remove and replace all of your images on all these slides. You can duplicate or delete slides if you need to change the number that are available, and then edit your text on slide number 1 and slide number 11. Once you have done those things, you're pretty much ready to go. But there are a few other things worth pointing out. Number 1 is the timing. With OpenOffice, you clicked to change from one slide to the next. In Explaindio, your timing is controlled down here at the bottom of the page. Either the delay slide viewpoint or extend slide can be adjusted in a positive or negative manner to increase or decrease the amount of time that slide will be displayed on your screen. So you'll have to manually adjust your timing to fit the amount of content. One way to figure out this timing is to just get out a piece of paper, preview your video, and then try to talk along with the video. And you can kind of make notes as you go through. For slide number 1, hey, I need more time, or slide number 1, I need less time. And then you go back through and adjust your slide viewpoints to match that time accordingly. You can see up here at the top, if I decrease my frames here, it is decreasing the number of seconds for my total video. And you can see the reference here, 24 frames is equal to 1 second. So for every 24 frames you add on here, you're going to be adding another second, and vice versa if you are removing. So you would need to adjust your timing for the entire slideshow to fit with what you will be talking along with it. Now you also have audio to worry about. If you click on audio up here in Explaindio, you can directly record your voice by clicking here, and then you'll get another window that pops up so you can click another microphone that actually starts and stops your recording, and it plays your video along while you're actually talking, and then it will put the voice on the video. The other option, though, if you don't want to do it this way, if you are planning on recording the video again using this additional strategy that I'm going to be showing you, where you will take the video and play it back on your screen while you talk along with the video, you could simply leave the audio blank and worry about the audio the second time around when you're actually doing the final recording. So whether you add the video on now or later, once you're finished, click up here to create your video to actually export that video so you could then play it. So whether you use the OpenOffice route or the Explaindio route, your next goal would likely then be to get your video published on YouTube. So you would go to the YouTube homepage, signed into your account, go to the upload screen. Now, the normal way would just be to click here and upload your video directly onto YouTube. If you created the Explaindio video and your audio is already built into it, you can simply publish it this way. Just make sure your privacy here is set to public. And then you upload your file, you provide your title, your description, your keywords, etc., and you publish your video that way. However, if you used OpenOffice and need to still record your video, or if you used Explaindio and you want to re-record it to get the boost in search rankings for your video, this option is going to be done with Google Plus Hangouts on Air. And you just click on this broadcast button to get started. Now, if you don't see this showing up here, there can be a couple of reasons why. First of all, you need your YouTube account to be verified. This is going to involve Google actually sending you a text message with a code in it so you can verify your identity. That is a necessary step, but then you also need to have your Google Plus profile hooked up to your YouTube account. If you don't have one already, just go and create a blank one using your name or the name of your website or whatever it is you may try to be targeting. Sync it up with what your YouTube account is going to be. So once you can get back to this page and you're seeing this Google Plus Hangouts on Air with the broadcast button, then you can click on it to actually proceed. So what we want to do here is essentially set up our video like we would be doing on YouTube. We want to give it a title, and we want to give it a description here. So I would be using the previous title that I came up with off of my research. Runyon Canyon Dog Park, I can say in Los Angeles, CA. Down below, I would want to get a little more descriptive to where you can essentially expand on this keyword, but not necessarily repeat all of your same phrases. So I can just talk about some of the main features of this place. I can go back to my own website and look at what I wrote for my search engine description and for my excerpt. And I can kind of use that as some inspiration if I don't feel like rewriting something. And then down below it, put a link back to this page on your website. So I have my description here. I'm not actually going to be typing this out or publishing this video because I can't do the recording at the same time that I'm recording this class for you guys. But this should give you an idea of how to get all this set up. Now if you can, try to keep your link here no more than 2 or 3 lines down. If necessary, go below your link and continue your description down here. That way your link stays closer to the top, and this can affect how it shows up on YouTube as well. So for starting, we want to leave this set to now. For audience, we want to leave this set to public. If you notice right here, this broadcast will be publicly available and promoted on Google Plus and YouTube. However, if you remove public here and make it private, it'll still be listed on those sites, but it's actually going to be unlisted in terms of when you're creating a new video here. This privacy tab, it would be an unlisted video instead of a public video if you do not allow the public to actually view this broadcast. So once you have all this set up, click on the share button and you will proceed on to Google here. You have some different initial options that you can use to set things up. If you're not quite sure how to use this system, you can get a little bit of help here. However, most of the options for this are actually in the Hangout itself. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my Start Hangout button here. This is going to load up my page, and first I get a little invite guest. Before you just close this window out, pay attention to the middle part here. You want to make sure it says here that your YouTube account is connected to your Google Plus page or profile, and that this Hangout on Air will be broadcast on both Google Plus and on your YouTube account. This is really important because if it's not saying that it's going to publish on your YouTube account here, then there's really not too much of a point in doing this because you're not going to get the end result that you are after, which is to have this video on YouTube, but to get the boost of search engine rankings that can come as a result of publishing it through Google Hangout. So now, if you have a fan base built up, let's say you have your YouTube channel and you've done these types of videos, and over the course of time you get some people that are following you. You can actually invite those people that have followed you on Google Plus to join you here. I have a few people down here that actually follow me, but for the most part I really don't utilize Google Plus in that manner. More of my subscribers are over on YouTube, and they'll get notified of it in their own way. But for the most part, you may or may not need to actually invite guests here. If you have people you want to invite, an existing fan base, great. add them to it. If not, click on the skip button, but only if you are seeing this message here. If not, you need to go back to your YouTube account and finish the verification process and make sure you add your Google Plus profile to that account as well. So once you get that past that page, you actually get into your Google Hangout. You can control different settings up here, like your microphone and camera. If you go to the settings page, you can actually select which microphone or webcams are being used, but you don't actually need a webcam. You could set up a webcam and still have it show a little preview picture down here. I actually don't even have a webcam hooked up to this particular computer. I just use a microphone, and what I'm going to be doing is sharing my screen. So I want to click on Screen Share over here. Then if you have multiple monitors, I have 3, I have to click on the one that I want to use and then click on the Share button. And you can see the effect that gets created here is because I'm sharing this exact screen. So then I would click on Present to Everyone up at the top. When I'm done, I can click on Stop up here, but then I also need to click on Start Broadcast down at the bottom. After I click Start Broadcast, I'm actually recording. But I'm also on air live, where fans of my Google Plus account and fans of my YouTube account, and even people that go through the Google Hangouts website or people that search on Google can even get to my Hangout while it is in progress. But when it's all done, it'll take the recording from the Hangout and it'll actually put it in place of that live presentation. So that's the really important part here, is not really the live part of it, but what comes after it. It's going to be publishing it for you automatically, and going through this process using Google Hangouts, instead of just creating your video and publishing it straight to YouTube, you can actually get a big search engine ranking boost because of it, because it's going to be something Google related. And not only that, it'll put your video up in the rankings almost instantly, because Google wants people to be able to find these Hangouts as they're actually happening. So it'll put the Hangout in the search results sometimes right after you have created it and have started your broadcast. Now, I moved this off of my screen here for a moment so you can go back to seeing this screen without the dizzying mirror effect, because I want to show you the slideshow video again for one more second. Now, you remember we are trying to record our screen here. You can see here in Google Hangouts that I have my screen being recorded here. So what I want to do is start my broadcast while I am in the middle of a full screen slideshow presentation. And then you can see Google Hangouts is sharing my screen now. So I could talk along with my video. I can click whenever I need to advance to my next slide to work my way through my entire content. And then when I'm completely done, I can simply end my broadcast and stop sharing my screen. And then Google Hangouts will convert this into a recording for me, and it'll actually publish this recording onto my YouTube account for me. Now, I ran a quick little recording right before I started up this video here, just so you could see what this is going to look like on the other side. Now I don't have any audio to go along with this video, and it's just a short little mirror picture just like what you were seeing previously. But the point here is the information down below. You still have all of the typical stuff with a YouTube video. Once it gets published, if you go to your account, you go to My Channel right here, then you click on Video Manager, you can see the full list of all the videos that are on your account. And then you can actually edit the video that was just published. And if needed, you can adjust the title and the description. You can make sure your link is actually showing up here. And then you can add on more keyword phrases to actually reflect the keywords you're trying to target with this particular video. Any other settings you might need to change as far as setting a video location, which I would definitely recommend to do. This will help you with targeting some of those searches a little bit better, especially for people that don't add on the term Los Angeles, California, for example, for this dog park search. So you can go back in and fine-tune your video, which I definitely recommend to do. Do not simply leave it with however Google Hangouts is going to publish it. However, they are doing a lot of the work for you. As you can see, they're actually doing the recording for you. And you're going to get all the other benefits that come along with this entire strategy. One final thing to mention here about the whole Google Hangouts on-air process. They do have a couple of country restrictions, it seems. They do not allow China or Vietnam to broadcast on-air Hangouts, likely because of media censorship laws within those countries, I would assume. So beyond those two countries, as long as you go through the verification process, you should be able to carry out this strategy. And using OpenOffice plus Google Hangouts, you'll be able to do it completely for free, maybe minus having a headset microphone to actually record your voice along with your video. And don't worry if you feel like you're not a professional sounding voice. It truly does not matter. All that matters is that you can simply get comfortable enough with your own voice to be able to make it through the video. And then you don't have to worry about it anymore. It'll be out there and working for you. Now in the next AZON Masterclass 3, we are going to still be continuing on with some more marketing strategies for this website. I have a number of other unique and interesting angles that you can actually go for with this type of a website. So I'm going to continue on with more training in that arena so you can help to drive as much traffic as possible to these place-based websites.